Expected value is the most important concept in trading. Many have heard me say this again and again, and it applies to every single trading decision we make. If you can master this concept, your chances of becoming a successful trader increase exponentially. That's why it's so important we break this down and have a strong foundational understanding of what it is. If you're new here, I'm Lance Brightstein, ex-Trillium top trader, market wizard with over $100 million in verified profits, mentor to 7- and 8-figure P&L per year traders, and someone who spent over a decade looking for every possible edge in the markets. In the simplest terms possible, I view expected value as the average outcome over the long run. Let's start simple. Imagine flipping a coin. You bet $1. If it lands heads, you win $1. If it's tails, you lose $1. The expected value, or EV, is 0. 50% chance to make $1, 50% chance to lose $1. You're not gaining or losing over time. This is a neutral EV game. Now, let's make it interesting. Suppose you win $2 if it's heads and lose $1 if it's tails. Same 50-50 coin, but now your expected value is the probability of heads, or 50% times $2, the probability of tails, 50% times $1, which equals 50 cents. In other words, you're making 50 cents per flip on average. You'll still have losing flips, maybe even losing streaks, but over thousands of flips, you would be printing money. Let's say you played that game 10 times. Because the expected value is positive 50 cents, you could expect to make $5 on average because you were playing a game that on average pays you 50 cents 10 times. Essentially, the formula works out to be expected value equals the probability of winning times the average win amount minus the probability of loss times the average loss amount. That's it. 4 variables. The formula tells you, on average, how much you can expect to make or lose per trade. If the result is positive after trading fees, it's theoretically a trade worth taking. If it's negative or 0, skip it. So let's say I wanted to test this higher-low breakout pattern. First, I'd gather as many examples of this pattern as possible before the breakout happens. This part is critical. No cherry-picking winners. We define the setup in advance and we log every single instance that matches it. In this example, the setup is a strong opening drive, at least an hour of consolidation forming higher lows, and then a breakout to new highs. My entry is the breakout. My initial stop is the low of the breakout bar. That becomes my defined risk, or 1R. My profit target is a trailing stop using the 10-period moving average. For example, in this first trade, the breakout was at $218 and the low of the bar was $215. That's $3 of risk, which is going to equal 1R. This trade ended up working, and we finally closed below the 10-period moving average at $221. That's also $3 above the entry, so this particular winner was a plus 1R trade. Now, we repeat that exact process for every single instance of the setup, and we log the data in a simple spreadsheet. I include the ticker, the date, whether the trade was a win or a loss, and for winners, I write down the reward in terms of R. For losers, the loss is always minus 1R because the stop was always the breakout bar's low. That's why the average loss is always 1R. Because I'm using a trailing target, each winner ends up with a different R value. Sometimes 1R, sometimes 1.7R, sometimes 2R. That's exactly what you see in the sheet. Once I have the data, I calculate the win rate, which is the number of winners divided by the total trades, the loss rate, which is 1 minus the win rate, the average reward, which is the average R of the winning trades, the average risk, which is always 1R because that's how we defined it, and now I can finally calculate expected value. In this example, the expected value comes out to be positive 0.44R per trade, that is. That means for every 1R I risk, I make 0.44R on average. Or to translate this to dollars, for every $100 I risk per trade, on average, I will make $44 per trade. Over a large enough sample, the law of large numbers ensures your actual P&L will converge toward your expected value, assuming you stay disciplined and consistent. Let's now apply this more to trading. Imagine if a breakout could make you $8 $8 75% of the time, but you will lose $14 25% of the time. Should we be scared of this trade because our losses are in absolute terms bigger than our winners? No. If we run the math, this trade has positive expected value of $2.50, which generally means we'd want to take that trade every time. It's a great trade. One of my favorite interview questions I used to ask new trader candidates was this: what win rate does a trader need to be successful? The astute ones would see the trap. You do not need a high win rate, you just need positive expected value. I've known world-class traders who only win 20% of the time because their reward to risk ratio was massive. I've also known traders who win 90% of the time but risk $1 to make 25 cents, managing losses perfectly. Both types can be extremely profitable if the expected value is positive. This is why expected value isn't just math, it's also mindset. You must think in probabilities, not outcomes. Most traders think, I lost money so it was a bad trade, or I made money so it was a good trade. Wrong. You can lose on a good trade if the odds didn't play out this time. You can win on a terrible trade that had negative expected value. The individual outcome means nothing. What matters is the quality of your process and how it performs over hundreds of repetitions. I've seen so many traders that let emotions or limiting beliefs and biases steer them away from making the right decision based on expected value. With very few exceptions, we need to always be focusing on allocating capital towards bets where expected value is positive and allocating the most capital to where expected value is highest. Now, let's get a little bit more advanced. These examples are simple, but real-world trading isn't. Trades technically have tons of potential outcomes, probabilities that shift over time, and we often don't know the reward. The truth is, in trading, we actually never truly know the expected value. We only act on what we perceive it to be. Of all the variables in the expected value formula, risk is often the easiest. Most traders set their initial stop at a set level so it can easily be calculated how far away the stop is. That being said, it's far harder to know our win rate and our reward on average. So how do we come to approximate our win rate and our reward for most trades? It comes from backtesting, forward testing, and experience. What does that mean to backtest? Let's say we didn't know the math for those coin flip examples. Backtesting would mean if we had the past data, we would look back in time to the 100 times we placed that bet on the coin flip. Using that data, we could see on average how much we won. We could also see on average how often we won. With all that information, we could also tell whether we made money or not. Backtesting for trading is no different. I can study past similar trading examples and I can calculate how often the trade worked, how much profit was realized on average, and see if those past examples would have made money overall or not. Let's say we don't have any of that past data. That is where forward testing comes into play. We could theoretically play the coin flip game hundreds of times, start tracking the data, and use that data over time to tell our win rate, average win, average loss, and whether we are making money or not. Same for trading. You can use a demo account and look for trade examples that match your criteria. Tracking and calculating how those trades perform over time allows us to forward test a strategy and approximate what the specific variables are and what the expected value is. Oftentimes, I'll get asked, how do you find what the optimal stop is or what the optimal place to take profit is? You form a hypothesis, then you test that hypothesis using past data or data going forward. For example, you can test what the average profit would be if you use a 20-period moving average as a stop versus a 10-period moving average, or compare it to holding the trade 5 minutes or 30 minutes. By gaining experience and observing data, we start to spot trends, and then we crunch the data to find what gives us the best outcome overall. The more and more experience we get, we develop enough data and mental observations to get a feel for what strategies work and which don't. Not to mention, we also have our P&L curve. If your P&L is going down over the long run, you can be fairly confident the trades you are placing have negative expected value. If your P&L is going up over the long run, you can be fairly confident the trades you are placing have positive expected value. Ready to now take this even one more step deeper? As if this wasn't already complicated enough, expected value in trading is actually dynamic, meaning that the expected value is constantly changing as the trade unfolds. The easiest analogy I can give you is like playing a poker hand. Everything that occurs changes the expected value of your poker hand. The flop changes your expected value. How aggressively someone is betting changes your expected value. What starts as a good poker hand might not end a good poker hand as the situation develops. Same with trading. Often, we must adjust on the fly. That might mean adding size if expected value is getting better, reducing size if expected value is getting worse, or totally getting flat the position if expected value goes negative. The true essence of what a trader does is two things. Traders try their best to accurately perceive what the expected value is in each moment in time, and then appropriately size their bets based on their perception of expected value. One more final layer of complexity. Unlike with poker, markets are constantly evolving. Market environments change, markets evolve, so we need to constantly be paying attention to our data and how it shifts over time. Now you probably are starting to understand what makes trading so hard. Traders are constantly thinking about expected value. Want to know something really cool though? Expected value can be a lens for all of our actions and even apply to your daily process. Every habit in trading has an expected value. Journaling your trades, that increases your skill as a trader and the likelihood you will become profitable. In other words, journaling increases your expected value as a trader. Revenge trading, negative EV. Checking P&L mid-trade, negative EV. Reviewing playbook setups, positive EV. If you treat your workflow like a portfolio of expected value bets, you'll start eliminating the ones that drain edge from your system. This connects directly to my bobblehead concept. The idea that your job each day isn't to obsess over your P&L, but to increase the expected value of you as a trader. Every day, you should be improving your process, tightening your risk management, refining your playbook. Each improvement, no matter how small, increases your long-term EV. Just like compound interest, those small edges stack. To sum all this up, expected value drives not just whether you take a trade or not. It determines your sizing, your stop, and when you exit. All of those variables you want to do based on what you perceive the expected value to be. I know this can get wonky, but the concept is the essence of trading, so don't be afraid to rewatch this. Thank you for listening, give a subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.